What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I'm about to talk about Sarah Sanders, Michelle Wolf, who is the comedian who is at the White House Correspondents' dinner, who's under a lot of fire and scrutiny. And I want to talk about the White House Correspondents' dinner. I want to talk about comedy in general and roast comedy. You know, Sarah Sanders, Michelle Wolf, the whole nine. And I want to say what a lot of people aren't saying, especially on the conservative side. I don't hear it a lot. And I don't really know what the liberal side is saying that much because they've lost me in their delusion that, I don't even really pay attention to much of what they're saying. So let's wait about a minute or 2 minutes for everyone to get in the live stream. Thank you so much. Someone said I want to interview with you. Check out legendary.vision. That's my website. I'll post it at the end. I'm also going to post my links to the top, my donor box link. My Instagram is DreamRare, DreamRare. My Twitter is Legendary Energy. And my website is legendary.vision. Hope you guys are feeling strong today because I feel like this is going to be a very, very unpopular opinion, but I hope you guys stay tuned. And I have a feeling I'm going to lose hundreds of followers possibly today, but I'm not here to pander. I'm not here to lie. And a lot of people always say, anomaly, blah, 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 you never say this and that. And here's a great live stream for those type of people. I'm sure they'll be very thrilled. Let's wait 30 more seconds for people to get in. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Hello, Jackie. And thank you so much. Jennifer, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for staying tuned. And please just listen to my perspective. Listen to what I'm about to say. I know it's going to hurt a lot of people. I know it's going to go against. I've been going off on Twitter, having a little fun, and people seem to be very, very bothered by the basic truth of what I'm saying. And, I'm not claiming to know everything, but I think people are majorly just completely twisting this story, and it's a really embarrassing bad look. And it's part of the reason that the youth gets so indoctrinated and brainwashed by liberals. It's because they're, better at doing certain stuff like, entertainment and hip-hop music and, education they infiltrate. But take what I'm saying and just listen to it because I know it's going to make people mad. I know they're probably not going to agree with it, possibly, but, the truth is the truth. And to be honest, I know this might not be popular, but I just really don't care. I gotta keep it real. So I'm a big comedy fan, just to start out. I love comedy. I love watching comedy live. I love watching comedy on, Netflix or television. I love all sorts of comedy. I love comedy roasts, especially Comedy Central. Every year they have a roast, and it's very dark humor, very edgy humor, very taboo stuff. But that's why it's so funny, because it is so dark and edgy and taboo. I mean, that's why a roast battle's funny. And every single year they do something where they roast politicians, and the president is called the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I guess conservatives maybe didn't know about, or they don't like comedy, or when comedy doesn't go their way they get so offended that they want to cause a huge outrage. But I was introduced to the White House Correspondent Dinner by Larry Wilmore, who roasted Obama, who roasted Bernie Sanders, who did a few Trump jokes, some Clinton jokes, and this was in 2016. Larry Wilmore was very edgy and dark, and he made fun of Obama for 2 minutes. He made fun of Obama's appearance. He made fun of CNN. He made fun of Wolf Blitzer. He made fun of Don Lemon. He made fun of Fox News. I thought it was hilarious. If you've never seen it, 2016, Larry Wilmore at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's hilarious and pretty offensive, I guess. If you're very emotional and you're a snowflake and you don't like comedy, you might get offended by roast comedy. So this year, a woman named Michelle Wolf roasted, everybody at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So I was introduced to this because I saw a lot of conservatives that I follow on Twitter freaking out. People that I love and respect a lot were freaking out, saying, Michelle Wolf was so mean. Oh my goodness, what a bully. We can't have her at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So I was like, man, she must have really said something crazy. So I watched the 2-minute clip of where she made fun of Sarah Sanders. And I was thinking to myself when I watched it, I was like, this is not that bad at all. I mean, I'm a comedy head. I watch really dark comedy, really, edgy jokes. Like, I'm not, that's not my favorite type of comedy, but guess what? Here's what you need to understand, and I need to understand, and everybody on Twitter who's upset with me needs to understand. it's not all about you, okay? If I don't think a joke's funny, someone else might think a joke's funny. I'm not the comedy god. Like, I go to a comedy show, I'm laughing hysterically. I can't even breathe at this Italian comedian, and my friend's sitting right next to me, and he's not laughing at all. I don't turn to him and say, how dare you not laugh? This is funny. He doesn't turn to me and say, why are you laughing? This isn't funny. That's what comedy is, folks. I mean, if you want a G-rated comedian, go watch Fluffy. You know, Gabriel Iglesias, he's a very funny guy, and he's very G-rated. You could bring your family to it. But roast comedy is not G-rated, and it's not nice. It's roasting somebody. You're supposed to be mean. That's what makes it roast comedy. It's nothing new. So I watched the 2-minute clip of the Sarah Sanders stuff because conservatives were freaking out. And I saw it and I said, wow, this is so not that edgy at all. It's not even that mean. So then I watched the entire roast comedy thing, the entire Michelle Wolf, like 18 minutes of roast comedy. And she made fun of everybody, okay? I mean, it's just embarrassing. No offense. I mean, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I don't care, what background you come from. But it's just like straight up snowflake delusion that people think she's bullying Sarah Sanders. Oh my God, she's being so mean. I mean, did you even watch the comedy set? I watched the whole thing. She didn't even talk about Sarah Sanders for 15 minutes. She made fun of herself. She made fun of her own appearance. She made fun of her lady parts. She made fun of her own breasts. She said she had small breasts. She made fun of Rachel Maddow. She made fun of MSNBC. She made fun of liberals. She made fun of Democrats. She barely even made fun of President Trump. I mean, Larry Wilmore, the liberal comedian who made fun of Obama, was much ruder and meaner to Obama than even Michelle Wolf was to Trump and Sarah Sanders. I'm sorry. It's just true. And she made fun of Sean Hannity. She made fun of Fox News. She had a lot of political jokes I didn't agree with because she's, probably... No offense, but she's probably a delusional liberal who, reads like Washington Post and New York Times. And she was like, oh, the Mueller investigation. And you're like, oh, that's not a funny joke. I'm not saying she was hilarious. I laughed a bunch. I didn't think she's the greatest comedian I ever saw. A lot of jokes are pretty lame. But nothing she said was really that offensive. I mean, I just think honestly, I think it's kind of pathetic and really a bad look for conservatives that they're snowflaking so hard over this. And I say this with much kindness. These are, my brothers and sisters. Just like when I speak to the liberals and I say, hey guys, like, why are you guys being delusional and being fascist? And, but it's just like, if you watch the whole comedy thing, she makes fun of everybody. She makes fun of herself more than she makes fun of Sarah Sanders. And Sarah Sanders, the joke she had on Sarah Sanders, she said, oh, like, I didn't know if we were going to come here and pick softball teams. I'm sorry, that's funny. She looks like a softball player. And, that's a joke. That's what roast comedy is. It's very dark. A lot of people said, how dare her make fun of abortion? Do you co-sign a joke about abortion? Have you ever watched comedy? People are being such liars about this, and I stand for the truth. I don't care which side it falls. Comedy is edgy. Comedy is dark. People that I love and respect, like Roseanne that I've met with. I love Roseanne. I love her as a person. I love her as a comedian. She tweeted, comedy's all about love. It's not about hate. I'm sorry, that's just not true. That's not true at all. It's just not true. Like, comedy's not love and peace. It's not a tree planting association. It's not like a peace festival. It's comedy. Most comedy, to be honest, is rooted out of, some hate. And I think hate is love. Like, love and hate are very, very similar. Like, if you hate something too much, you secretly love it sometimes. So I'm not saying that love isn't there, but it's just a total delusional lie. That comedy can't be mean, especially roast comedy. That's literally what it is. Oh, she shouldn't have joked about that. That's why it's a joke. That's why people make edgy jokes. It's so taboo that they make the joke about it. In England, this YouTuber made a joke and made his dog into a Nazi and said, my dog's cute, Nazis are not cute, so I'm going to make my dog a Nazi. Me personally, I thought it was not funny at all. But, the liberals in the UK said, oh my God, that's hate crime. We need to give you a fine. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was rude. But that's what comedy is. It's not all about me, just like it's not all about you. Okay, you don't like an abortion joke. That offends you so much that you're not happy with it. Well, guess what? you're not the god of comedy, okay? You don't control comedy. You don't get to ban all edgy humor and complain about edgy humor because you don't get it. I mean, there's comedians like Anthony Jeselnik who have a show on Comedy Central. All he does is dark humor. All he does is edgy humor. At the roast battle, somebody made fun of, I forget his name, the younger kid. He's 19 and he's on SNL, Pete Davidson. They made a joke about Pete Davidson's dad passing away in 9/11. I mean, to me, that's totally off the boundaries. But Pete Davidson, I thought it was rude and mean for sure. I mean, that's a very dark, negative joke. But that's what a roast battle is, folks. If you don't want to get roasted, don't go to a roast battle. I mean, an abortion joke is not a big deal. Is abortion a big deal? I mean, to you, absolutely. But that's what comedy is. You make light of something that's not funny. And sometimes that's part of what humor is. You say something that's so not funny, that's so edgy, everyone does it. So then that makes it funny. The fact that you're not supposed to talk about it. So it's like, did I agree with every joke that she said? No, absolutely not. But I mean, it was like PG-13 rated comedy. It was not offensive. She did not single out Sarah Sanders. That's a total lie. I don't care if a million conservatives say it. I don't care if hundreds of people unfollow me for saying this blatant fact that is a fact. It is the truth. She didn't single out Sarah Sanders. I mean, she made a joke about Rachel Maddow. She made fun of Rachel Maddow and how delusional Rachel Maddow is. She made fun of how fake MSNBC is. She made fun of herself, that she had small breasts, and she said she had a damaged lady part. I mean, she made fun of her own vagina, folks. I mean, is Sarah Sanders going to cry because she said, oh, she has smoky eyes and she looks like a softball player? Like, I mean, come on. Her whole image, and I support Sarah Sanders. I do think liberals are hypocritical when they say, hey, we love women, but we hate Sarah Sanders. But, I'm not talking about Washington Post and MSNBC and CNN all year. I'm talking about a roast comedy event that has always been a roast comedy event. And literally, I mean, I'm reading the comments now. I disagree, Anomaly. Go get a job and go get a haircut. This is just embarrassing behavior. And this is why, I'm just being honest. That's why people even like me. This is why conservatives lose the culture war, because they complain about hip-hop. When I post a hip-hop song, I don't care if you like hip-hop music. I don't care if you like my rap music. It's not all about you. If you comment in the section and say, hey, I think your rap wasn't that good, you're allowed to feel that way. But if you comment in the section and say, I don't think rap music is real music, Anomaly. I think my opinion on what music is supersedes what everyone else feels. Okay, it's not all about you. You don't own rap music. You don't own music. You don't own comedy. You don't have to think it's a funny joke. But it's not all about you, okay? You go to a comedy show with hundreds of people. How come everyone doesn't laugh in unison with you? It's because everyone's individuals and everyone has their own humor. I have friends that they love dark humor. They love jokes that push the boundaries and are so messed up. That's what they like. Do I like that? No, I like more, people like Chappelle and, like George Carlin and, I like some stuff. I'm not a big dark comedy person, to be honest. I'm not a big, tell me 20 abortion jokes in a row. That's not my style. But it's not all about me, okay? I'm not the god of comedy. Like, if it's not funny to me, I'm going to be offended by a roast comedy battle. I mean, it's just so lame and pathetic. I'm just being honest. It's not about me, and it's not about you. If you don't like dark comedy, don't watch a comedy roast. If you don't want to be offended and made fun of, don't attend a roast comedy event. I mean, it's just basic common sense. And above all, just don't lie about someone who made jokes about everyone for 17 minutes and then act like she made 17 minutes. Oh, she was verbally assaulting Sarah Sanders. Oh my goodness. No, she wasn't. She did 15 minutes of jokes and didn't even talk about Sarah Sanders. She talked about Sarah Sanders for 40 seconds. It's just straight wrong. I mean, watch Larry Wilmore with Obama. He made fun of Obama for like 5 minutes straight. He said, Obama, I saw you hanging out with Steph Curry. That makes sense because you and Steph Curry like to stand back and rain down bombs on people from long distance. And then he was like, isn't that what you do? Don't you just bomb people? He said, you didn't close Guantanamo. He said, you look old. He's like, you disprove black doesn't crack because you cracked and you look super old and terrible. I mean, he made fun of Obama's appearance for 2 minutes straight. He was way meaner to Obama than than she was of Sarah Sanders. And it's just not a good look. You can get mad at me. You can say, Anomaly, I don't agree with you. I'm not asking you to agree with my preference in comedy, but it's not debatable. Roast comedy's not going anywhere, okay? Dark comedy's not going anywhere. Edgy comedy does not disappear because you can't take a joke about something that you don't want to hear about. But Anomaly, she made a joke about abortions and I don't want to hear that. Well, guess what? It's not about you. There's jokes about people dying. There's jokes about people's appearance. I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying it's my favorite thing, but I'm not the god of comedy. I don't cancel comedy. That's what a liberal snowflake would do, okay? You're no different from a liberal snowflake if you cry for 2 weeks about a joke because you can't take a roast battle. I mean, it's not a big deal. Nothing she said was that offensive, and she made fun of everybody. Was she liberal-leaning? Of course. Was Larry Wilmore liberal-leaning? Of course. Did I agree with every joke they said? No. Did I think many jokes that Michelle Wolf said were kind of lame and inaccurate? Yes, but was it so outrageously bad that we need to act like we're being bullied and, oh my goodness, conservatives are being bullied on the roast battle? No, you are being bullied on Facebook. That's true. You're being bullied on Twitter. That's true. You're being bullied on Google. That's true. You're being bullied in popular culture. That's true. I give you all of these things. I'm not saying in real life that's not happening. But to complain about a roast battle is just not a good look. And if you have to unfollow, if you don't like dark humor and edgy humor and you think that there's certain things that you just can't joke about because it's so near and dear to your heart, feel free to unfollow. I mean, I really don't care because this is going to be really not fun for me. Just like the people, I'm just being honest today. I'm sorry. A lot of times it goes in people's direction. Today it's not, but I'm not going to budge. Just like the people when I post rap videos, and just if people want to hear the truth and want to hear an uncomfortable truth, listen to what I'm about to say, because it might hurt a little bit, but it's very honest, and maybe it can help you guys moving forward and figure out why so many kids are brainwashed, because I'm about to let you know. I post a rap song, because that's what I do. I'm a hip-hop artist. You might not like hip-hop, you might not like my hip-hop, but that's why I'm able to even be here. Hip-hop music has changed my life. It has put me in situations. It has let me live places for a year for free. It has paid for round trips because of my music. So you don't have to like my music. But when I post a hip-hop song and then people say, I don't think rap music's real music, and I don't even want to hear you say that, it's not about you. You don't have to like my music. I'm not saying you have to, but if you think you control me or control hip-hop music, like, don't even post that. And then on the same hand, you wonder, why are all the kids brainwashed? Anomaly. A lot of my following's older now, even though I'm younger. A lot of people who watch me are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and I'm not generalizing. There's a lot of great people, mostly great people. Even people who don't agree with what I'm saying right now, I still love you. But they ask me, Anomaly, can you talk to my 15-year-old son? Can you help my 16-year-old son? Well, no, because you're the ones who chase them away. You say, rap music's satanic, and I don't want to hear Anomaly ever rap, and rap's not real music. Comedy's offensive because when a liberal comedian makes fun of a conservative at a roast battle, it's bullying. And then on the other hand, I wonder why all the youth is brainwashed, and they don't. Well, it's because when you have a 28-year-old level-headed person with common sense who's, very trendy in many ways. I can rap. I'm a hip-hop artist. I can appeal to the youth, Most people who love my rap music don't even like my politics. I have millions of rap fans as well, believe it or not. When I try to go and bring people together and say, hey, comedy is funny. That's what younger kids like. I mean, people like roast comedy and they like rap music. And then you try to say, oh my God, Anomaly, how dare you rap? That's Satan. I mean, that's why young people don't like you, okay? That's why the tech companies brainwash your kids. That's why Stephen Colbert, the mind control agent, he's not even a comedian, he's a mind control agent, he lies all the time. That's why they brainwash your kids, because they're more fun. That's why liberals have more black and Latino people. And I'm not saying there's a lot of Latino people who follow me, and there's a lot of Latino patriots. I'm not generalizing, but you wonder why in some states 95% of the black vote voted for the Democrat. It's because liberals make an effort to talk to the black community. And although they're dishonest a lot of times, although they're pandering, and sometimes they just straight lie and hate white people, they make an effort to be nice to the kids. They make an effort to be nice to the black community. Where I post a video, sorry, it's getting a little real today, might not go in your favor. When I post a video of me on the street just talking to random people, I didn't pick and choose who came by. I just talked to whoever talked to me. And 80% of the people are black, and many of them are very intelligent and, saying their truth and even being pro-conservative and saying, I like Kanye and I like Trump. You read half of the comments, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm not generalizing, I'm not saying all conservatives, but you read a majority of my comments when I post a rap video or I post a video where I'm talking to black people who might not have the vernacular that the white person, the conservative, wants them to have. They say, oh, they're so stupid, they're so uneducated, how dare they not speak English? And then on the other hand, how come black people keep voting Democrat? It's because you guys are so lame. And I'm not saying you particularly, but you want to know the truth. This is the truth. You cry about roast comedy. It's a total lie. I mean, that's what roast comedy is. It's mean. It's offensive. Yes, she's a liberal comedian. Yes, she lied a bunch. But that's comedy, okay? I go to a comedy show. There's 10 comedians. 8 of them are liberal. Some of them make bad Trump jokes. Some of them make funny Trump jokes. Michelle Wolf, she's not that funny, but she made me laugh 5 or 6 times, okay? She did a decent joke, and she made fun of everybody. It's just a snowflake mentality, and this is why a large part of the black community will never be conservative, because you guys are so lame and so mean, even when people reach across the aisle. This is why most kids aren't conservative, they're liberal, because conservatives are not fun, they're mean, and not only do they not reach out to the kids, but then they attack me, someone like me who can actually bring millions of kids, to your way and be like, oh, maybe we don't want high taxes, and maybe we don't want endless wars, and maybe we don't want, complete fake activism, and maybe we don't want to strip our own weapons away while, they're funding terrorists overseas. And then you guys attack, oh, how dare you rap, Anomaly? I don't like rap music. Well, who cares? It's not about you, okay? I appreciate you. I love you. I'm glad you're being here. But I don't watch someone's video and say, hey, thank you so much for doing 200 videos and breaking your back and breaking your hands to bring me political analysis and get 100 million views and literally shift popular culture and, elevate people who are now hanging out with Kanye West today. Thank you so much, Anami, for shifting culture, but how dare you rap one time because I know you're a rapper and I don't like rap music and I don't like roast comedy and blah, 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 blah. You're so lame. This is why kids don't like you. This is why the black community doesn't like conservatives. And when I make an effort to do this, it's a slap in the face to me. Not that you don't like my rap song, I don't care, but it's not about you, okay? I can make a political video and get 15 million views. And then I could make a rap song and get 100 million views. And then guess what? I could go on a rap tour and you don't have to see my rap show. And then I can talk to those people and then I could bring the truth to that community and then I could talk to you, okay? I can do different things. Just like I like to talk about politics, but when the camera's off, I like to go dance and I like to hike. And I like to swim, and I like to play basketball, and I like to play soccer, okay? And I like to enjoy my life and lay in the sun and take naps, okay? I'm not a one-trick pony. That's not what I do. So, if I rap one time and you don't like it, who cares? It's not your opinion on rap music does not supersede everything that I do in my life, and no one cares. Like if you think rap music's not music, don't say it. If you think black people should speak proper English or else you don't want to hear it, don't be surprised when they vote Democrat for the next 10 years because you guys are so rude and mean even when they reach across the aisle. And when it comes to comedy and roast comedy, I mean, don't lie about it. If you want to be cool and you want to not look hypocritical and you not want to look like a bunch of snowflakes, don't complain about roast comedy because if you even watch the whole clip, she doesn't even make fun of Sarah Sanders that much. I mean, her jokes were not even 1/8 of as mean. If I've watched roast comedy battles, they make fun of people so hard. I mean, watch the Justin Bieber roast or the, I don't know, anybody who's ever been roasted on Comedy Central. Watch the White House Correspondents' dinner from last year. I mean, her jokes were not that mean. Was she lying a bit and saying, oh, Sarah Sanders is so fake? Yeah, but who cares? I mean, it's just so embarrassing to me that people want to, be like, Anomaly, I don't agree with you. I mean, I was so offended by those jokes and they were so bullying and she shouldn't have made a joke about abortion because that's something that I think shouldn't be joked about. Well, great. Then don't watch roast comedy. You could watch SpongeBob. You could watch Sean Hannity. You could watch Laura Ingraham. You could watch ESPN. Well, you can't even watch ESPN because they're going to have some liberal bias on ESPN, and they're going to try to indoctrinate you into the liberal mind control. But, you know, watch Hey Arthur. There's, you know, Sesame Street. I mean, there's a lot of comedians who don't make edgy jokes, but you can't just demonize the entire craft. And I do think it's embarrassing. President Trump's mad. You know, James Wood is mad. Steven Crowder's mad. He said, oh, she might have well been a Trevor Noah writer. I mean, these are all people that I like and I enjoy, but I just think they're lying. I mean, did anybody watch her whole thing? She made fun of everyone. She made fun of herself. She made fun of Rachel Maddow. She made fun of MSNBC. She made fun of liberals. She made fun of how terrible and pathetic Democrats are. She did all of those things before she even talked about Sarah Sanders. And then she says, hey, Sarah Sanders, you're a liar, fake news, and you look like you belong on a softball team. I mean, that's funny. She does look like someone picking a softball team. Just like if someone made fun of me at a roast comedy event, I'm not going to be like, are you serious? Like what? I mean, that's what a roast comedy is. It's humor, it's comedy. And I understand people are tired of it. I understand people are tired of the liberal delusion. I'm reading the comments. I understand you're tired of the liberal hypocrisy. But the way to beat it is not to be a liberal snowflake. And the way to beat it is not to be a snowflake hypocrite. That's not how you beat the liberal delusion. You can talk about how they lie on Facebook. You could talk about how they lie on Twitter. You could talk about how Stephen Colbert is a mind control agent. I mean, he's on TV an hour every single day, lying to people, brainwashing people. Stephen Colbert is a mind control agent. But, you know, pick and choose your battles. You could talk about Jimmy Kimmel, how he's a liar. You could talk about how they're indoctrinating kids via the education system. And when you send your kids off to college, you're basically just sending them to a liberal indoctrination camp where they get, you know, their mind gets filled with all these creepy liberal thoughts that aren't real liberal thoughts. They're like fake brainwashed Democrat thoughts. We could talk about all these things. These all exist. I'm not, you know me, you know what I've said. I've been very transparent. I know the system's rigged against conservatives. I know the system's rigged against Christians now. You know, white liberals hate Christians and white people more than they hate themselves and more than they hate anyone else. I don't agree with the hate at all, but there's a difference between saying all that stuff and complaining about a roast comedy event that literally happens every single year. And yes, I understand that one of the jokes might have been a little offensive to you, but that's comedy, okay? And it's no different than a liberal complaining about a joke that they didn't understand. I mean, it is different when you give somebody a fine and literally prosecute them in court. I'm not saying conservatives are going that distance. I'm not saying they're taking away free speech, but it is totally, totally lame. I just don't agree with it. It's lame to cry about comedy, especially roast comedy, because this type of comedy that Michelle Wolf was doing, that she had every right to do, this is what roast comedy is. I mean, her whole act was tame. It was tame compared to other roast comedy. This is the genre of comedy where you're supposed to be mean, you're supposed to make fun of people, you're supposed to attack people's, you know, that's what they do. I mean, watch any roast battle. The whole time, they're just making fun of everybody. I mean, they made fun of Ann Coulter at the last roast, and it was funny because she went to a roast battle, and that's what you do. You make fun of their appearance. You make fun of who they are. You make fun of every single thing. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to go your way as far as, oh my goodness, you're not allowed to joke about that. No, nothing is off limits. And if you want to limit comedy, you're no different than a liberal who wants to control hate speech. It's pretty much the same thing. It wasn't a roast. My brother Tony, it was a roast. I mean, what are you watching? She made fun of everyone. It was a total roast. That's what they do at roasts. Does she have a liberal bias? Totally. Do I agree with every joke? No, but it's not all about me, okay? It's not all about you. That is a roast. That's exactly what a roast is. It was a tame roast. You're lucky I wasn't booked there because I would have made meaner jokes. I would have said something meaner and funnier. I'm not saying I'm that funny, but, you know, legendary.vision, if you want to book me for next year's White House Correspondents Dinner, I'll pull it together. And I'm going to be meaner because that's what comedy is, and especially if you get into that arena as a comedian, this is like It's like a steak dinner. You're in front of all of these politicians that you don't like. Oh my goodness. Michelle Wolf is not that funny. I agree with you. I don't think she's that funny. But watch Larry Wilmore at the Obama one. I mean, you could tell how excited he is because as a comedian, this is your steak dinner. You're in front of Republicans and Democrats and the president, and you're just like, I get to say whatever I want, and no one can say anything. I mean, it's the steak dinner of comedy. So Michelle Wolf, as a liberal who probably doesn't like President Trump, this is her steak dinner of comedy to be like, I get to tee off at all of these people. I get to make fun of all of these people right in front of their faces, and they can't say anything. It's hilarious. I mean, just that aspect of it makes me laugh just thinking about it. And Michelle Wolf, when I heard all the outrage, and then I watched the whole thing, she wasn't even that mean. I mean, seriously, she was totally tame. If you can't take what Michelle Wolf said, you don't like roast comedy, you don't like edgy comedy, and you don't like dark comedy, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but you don't control comedy. You're not the comedy god. I don't complain about music other people like. How dare they like this comedian that I don't like? I mean, who cares? I didn't think she was that funny, but she was not that mean. She did not bully Sarah Sanders. That's a total lie. I don't care how many people say it. Someone said, take a bath. I might do that because I enjoy baths just like I enjoy showers. I'm not even dirty, but I feel you. I will take a bath. Thank you for the constructive criticism. It's just funny to me, how upset people get at a blatant truth. And this is why things go back and forth because, I do find that conservatives are much more logical and much more common sense. And modern day liberals are so far delusional, they're almost lying about everything. But no matter how conservative you are, no matter how right you are about policies, no matter how many times you tell me to take a bath, no matter how many times you tweet about Michelle Wolf, it's not going to make what you're saying true because that's what roast comedy is. And you don't have to agree with it. Comedians are allowed to have a bias. They're allowed to be wrong. They're allowed to lie. It's not the end of the world. And I just think what people said versus what she actually said, it's a total lie. I mean, her whole set was very, very tame. It was not only tame, she spread out the hate everywhere. She barely made fun of President Trump. She talked about Sarah Sanders for 40 seconds, and Sarah Sanders looked like she was going to cry. But if you're going to be the tough woman, and that's what Sarah Sanders is, I think she's intelligent, I think she's smart, I think that the liberal media doesn't appreciate her and doesn't appreciate Kellyanne Conway. I've stood up for them many times. I think they're smart, intelligent women, that liberals are mean. I think liberals are nasty and rude to Melania. They don't love women when they disagree with them. I totally agree. But when it comes to roast comedy, especially if you're going to be the strong Sarah Sanders doing the job that men can't do, that's a compliment. She's doing a better job than Sean Spicer. She's a strong, powerful, intelligent woman. Mike Huckabee should be proud. She's a beautiful young woman, very intelligent, very strong. If you're going to be the strong White House correspondent lady, and you can't take 40 seconds of a roast battle without looking like you're going to cry, and then everyone feels bad for you, and even liberals are feeling bad for you, you have Mika Brzezinski from Morning Joe saying, that was just plain rude. So finally, it's kind of like the Syrian war. Nothing brings liberals and conservatives together like just complete deception. Because liberals never agree with conservatives until it's bombing Syria or it's, oh my goodness, that comedy was so mean. Oh man, you're right, conservatives. Roast comedy's canceled this year. No more roast comedy, no more dark comedy. Tell Anthony Jeselnik he has to cancel his whole existence because he jokes about babies and he jokes about people and he jokes about very dark stuff and it's not for everyone, but I mean that's bullying. We gotta cut the whole cord there. Someone said this world has gone so far with the PC life. That's all I'm saying. I'm just being honest. I could have not said this and probably, pleased a lot more people. But on the same token, I think that's why people appreciate me because I'm not afraid to say stuff like this. This is the type of stuff that I expect from the liberal delusional left. This is stuff I would expect from the snowflakes. I would never in a million years expect this level of PC, politically correct, snowflaking from so many conservatives. And that's what it is. I'm sorry. This comedy is not PC. I mean, if anything, politics should be more PC than comedy, but it's not. And all my liberal friends and people who hate President Trump say, but AJ, how could you like President Trump? He said so many mean things and he shouldn't say that. And I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that, but on a big scale of like how much it matters, like, words, actions, like war, poverty, this and that, I'm not that concerned about words. So the same way my liberal friends say, AJ, how could you like President Trump for saying all these mean things? Because I don't care. I don't know. People talk all the time. That's all they do out here. Oh, well, I'm going to do that. I don't even listen to them. I get to the point. What are we going to do? Nothing? Are you just talking? Then conversation over. I get it. We're just talking. Like I like to enjoy myself, but I don't care what people say. Like unless they're saying something intelligent or like people talk all the time. Did you hear what she said about her? Hey, Anomaly. Did you hear? She said that you said that he said. I mean, that's what the Washington Post and the New York Times do. They report basic gossip. They're like 12-year-old girls. Did you know that they said that you... I don't care what they said. I don't care what she said. I don't care what Trump said. I care what's true. Is what they said true about me? Well then, spoiler alert, I probably already know. Oh, wow. She said something that I already know. And if it's not true, I still don't care because it's not true. And I don't care what people think. I don't care what people talk about. I don't care about that politically correct stuff when it comes to politics. So why in the world would I ever care about that in comedy? Someone said it's not a roast. It is a roast. No matter how many times you type that, it is a roast. It was a roast. That's what roasts are. Nothing Michelle Wolf said was that mean. Nothing she said was that edgy. Her abortion joke was not even that edgy. I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's taboo. That's what makes it a joke, okay? If you're just talking like, I planted a tree yesterday, guys, no one's going to laugh because it's not funny. You have to say something that you shouldn't say. That makes it comedy. And comedy is not built out of love and peace and positivity. It's not Bonnaroo. It's not a music festival. It's not a Coachella. Comedy, a lot of times, is built from a very dark place. I mean, that's just the truth. I'm not saying it's great, but... a lot of comedians are very dark. A lot of comedians are very mad. A lot of comedians make a 6-7-figure living literally complaining on television. That's what they do. They just complain and talk about people and talk about slow drivers and just hate, and we laugh at it. I mean, that's what comedy is. And I'm not saying I don't care what you think. That's not what I'm saying. I appreciate you. I care what you think. What I'm saying is, it's not about you. If you don't like a certain comedian or a certain comedic style, I'm not saying I don't care. I'm saying it's not about you. It's not your opinion on comedy. Like if I don't like the Red Sox, I'm not going to try to fathom why would someone else like that when I don't like it. That's not a roast. Yeah, that was a roast. I mean, you could comment it 1,000 times. That wasn't a roast. It was a roast. Repeat after me. That was a roast. That was comedy. Was it a roast you agreed with? Clearly not. Was it a roast that was completely honest? No. Did she maybe lie a few times? Yes. That's not comedy, someone said? Was that comedy? Do you really believe yourself? That's all. I'm just wondering. I feel like I'm talking to liberal snowflakes right now. Do you believe yourself when you write that is not comedy? So you think it's not funny, so now it's not comedy anymore. She's a comedian. She probably makes 6 or 7 figures touring the country. She makes people laugh all the time. She made me laugh like 6 times. I laughed when she made fun of Rachel Maddow. I laughed when she made fun of Sarah Sanders. I thought the first joke was funny, talking about softball teams. I thought it was hilarious. She made me laugh when she made fun of, pretty much, she made me laugh 8 times. So that's not comedy though? Because you didn't laugh or you were so snowflaked out that you heard one thing and you're like, oh my goodness. I mean, this is why conservatives aren't winning the culture war. This is why, Kanye is saving you guys. Just being honest. President Trump is saving you. Thank President Trump every day. He saved conservatives, okay? Kanye's helping you gratefully. Candace Owens is helping you. Mike Cernovich is helping you. Fleckas is helping you. A lot of New Age people are helping you, but if it was just Ann Coulter and, Sean Hannity via 2006, conservatives would be losing very heavily right now. And I don't want to see that, because I know you guys are great people. And to be honest, I line up with a lot more policies of yours than like liberals who are like, let's open the borders and let's hate ourselves and let's, you know, destroy everybody with my skin color. I mean, I don't agree with that stuff. So, you know, I support and I tell the truth about this stuff, but I don't know what you want me to say. No matter how many times you write that was not a roast, no matter how many times you say that was not comedy, there's two things that are facts. These are not my opinions. This is a fact. And facts, Ben Shapiro, conservative, says facts don't care about your feelings. One, ready for these two facts? That was a roast. That was a comedy roast. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. If you don't like that fact and you want to just make up your own delusional liberal world in the comment section, that's fine. But that was a roast, and that was comedy. Was it a roast that you agreed with? Was it a comedy that you agreed with? Maybe not. But does that make it not a roast? Is rap music not real music and not music because you think so in the comment section? No, I'm sorry. That's not how the world works. That's how a delusional liberal snowflake thinks. They think, I'm offended and my emotions are running high because I can't take a joke, so I need to shift all of reality to fit what my little perspective feels. No, you can't change comedy, just like liberals can't change the Constitution, okay? They can't change the First and Second Amendment because they're too delusional to figure out how important they are. Just like you can't change comedy and roasts because you can't figure out how funny they are. I mean, that was not a roast. How many times are you going to write that? I'm sorry, it's not true. That was a roast. That is a fact. That was a roast. No matter how many times you write that, it's never... Someone said, let's stand up and roast Obama. They did that! They roasted Obama in 2016, and they were 20 times meaner to Obama than they were to Trump this year, you snowflakes. They did that. Google Larry Wilmore, White House Correspondents' Dinner, 2016. They roasted Obama. Stop being such snowflakes. This is why kids are brainwashed, okay? Because you guys freak out about comedy and rap music, and then you wonder why there's no kids on your side. It's because kids like rap music and comedy. They like music and comedy and having fun. They don't like someone coming and telling them that's not comedy, that's not music, okay? No wonder why they're voting Democrat. They're going to vote Democrat for 20 years at this rate. I'm trying to help you. You want a red wave or you want a blue wave? If you want a blue wave, keep saying that's not comedy. Keep saying that's not a roast. I mean, you're going to chase millions of people away because that is comedy, okay? There's comedians I don't think are funny, but I mean, Tracy Morgan, I watched his new special. I didn't laugh one time. Is that not comedy? No, it's still comedy. I just think it's not good comedy. And I like Tracy Morgan. I just thought his last stand-up was terrible. But I'm not going to strip the word I mean, it was on Netflix and he got paid $1 million to do it. So clearly something's working out for him. Someone said, you're taking it too personal. I don't care. I'm not taking anything personal. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not crying about a joke that someone said about me. I mean, it's one thing if you just start making fun of me out of the blue, that's mean. But if you go to a roast comedy event, that's what they do. Like, I don't like to be made fun of, maybe, but then I wouldn't go to Comedy Central Roast, and then they pick me out of the crowd. Oh my goodness, who would have known they were going to make fun of my appearance? That's literally what they do at roast battles. I mean, I go to roast events out here. I go to comedy shows out here. Sometimes people make Trump jokes that I don't think are very funny. And I think to myself, I get mad for a second. That's really not funny and that's not true. But then guess what? I wait for the next comedian who is funny or the next joke that is funny. I don't cry about it the whole time. I'm not taking any of this personally. I don't care because it's not about me. It's about the truth. And the truth is, that is comedy. That is a roast. Both of those things are facts, and no matter how many times you comment, no matter how mad what I'm saying makes you, it's never going to not be true. That was a comedy roast. It was a roast, and it was comedy. I laughed multiple times. Hundreds of thousands of people laughed. Millions of people didn't laugh and are upset, but it doesn't make it not comedy. It doesn't make it not a roast. She didn't bully Sarah Sanders. She literally made fun of everybody. That's literally what you do at a roast, and apparently Sarah Sanders couldn't take it, and Mike Huckabee and Trump couldn't take it, and all the Republicans and conservatives thought it was so horrible, and Mika Brzezinski thought it was so bad. Mika Brzezinski literally got called out for like plastic surgery by President Trump. and then all of a sudden she's snowflaking about a roast battle. I mean, this is just, it's just something I can't co-sign. And I stand up, just like I stand up for the first two amendments, I stand up for comedy, okay? I love comedy, and I love free expression. I love the freedom of speech, and I think comedians should never be pressured into being PC. I mean, this is the end of comedy, folks. This is the end of free speech. This is such a liberal, snowflakey mentality to have, and this is why the elites always run away and win, and people just fight each other because they fight over dumb stuff 24/7. But this is what comedy is. There is no political correctness in comedy. There's no such thing as it's too mean in comedy, especially roast battles. That's literally what they do at roast battles. A regular comedian's allowed to be mean, but at a roast battle, that's literally what they do. They literally are supposed to make fun of people's appearance. That's like, if they don't do what she did, it's not really a roast battle. Then it's a compliment. Ooh, real comedy is from love. Oh, okay. Hey, Sarah Sanders, I love what you're doing on TV. Keep it up. Hey, Trump, great job out there, buddy. Wolf Blitzer, I like your hair. Man, is that a Joseph A. Banks suit you have on? That's a cool suit. That's not comedy. That's like a liberal intervention, like drug meeting or something. That's not comedy, okay? You don't compliment people. It's not from love. That's not what a roast battle is. Someone said, I'm just reading, I was mostly offended by the abortion joke. I'm not saying that you can't be offended. I'm not saying that it's not funny, or it is funny, but it's not just about, you're allowed to be offended by an abortion joke. You have that right. You're allowed to be offended. You're allowed to be mad. But who do you sound like if you're getting offended by a comedy joke and you're trying to call it bullying because you don't get the joke? Do you sound like a strong, logical, common sense conservative? Or do you sound like an emotional, offended liberal? I mean, you answer that question. I mean, you're allowed to be offended. You're allowed not to like it. But to act like she's this giant bully who's crazy for saying that, you're destroying the sanctity of comedy like a snowflake liberal would. And that's just the truth. Comedians are allowed to be edgy. They're allowed to joke about abortion. They're allowed to joke about death. They're allowed to joke about people. They're allowed to joke about appearance. They're allowed to joke about race. They're allowed to joke about gender. They're allowed to joke about weight. They're allowed to joke about height. They're allowed to joke about themselves. They're allowed to joke about private parts. They're allowed to joke about countries. They're allowed to joke about ethnicities. That's literally what comedians do. And if you take one away, you're basically ruining comedy. You're being the comedy police who says, I'm offended by that particular joke, so you're not allowed to say it. That's the end of comedy, ladies and gentlemen, and I love comedy. I'm not a huge dark comedy fan, to be honest. I don't think it's that funny, but sometimes it is. I don't know. Have you ever seen Anthony Jeselnik? He's very joke. He jokes about babies, but it's funny because you know he doesn't mean it. You know, or he does, and he's just messed up. I don't know, but it's so taboo that you're like, did he just say that? I mean, that's what makes it funny. I don't know. Gloria says she wasn't funny to me. That's fine. I'm not telling you what to laugh at, but what I am saying is, if this isn't relating to you, then I'm not talking to you. You don't have to think it's funny. You can be offended. You can be mad at it, but there's a difference between not thinking it's funny and acting like conservatives have these last 2 days, and Mika Brzezinski. Of course, you got the snowflake liberals, because once you snowflake enough, it's like a momentum ball. You get all the snowflake liberals joining your side once you snowflake a lot. So there's a lot of liberals that agree too. But you don't have to think it's funny. But to act like people are acting like Sarah Sanders was bullied, that was just a big bullying session. I mean, that's just a total lie. That's just total delusion. It's total snowflake. Another drink of water. I agree. Thank you for the suggestion. But I'm not saying you have to think it's funny. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. But you can't destroy comedy. You can't. I mean, and President Trump's like, moving towards closing the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's the big, I mean, I'm saying this as a friend, because, like, you guys are trying to rival liberals for the most snowflake moment of 2018. I mean, President Trump tweeting that the White House Correspondents' Dinner isn't funny and that we got to almost cancel the White House Correspondents' Dinner now because he doesn't like the humor. I mean, I can't think of a more snowflake thing to say than to let's not do roast comedy anymore because my feelings are hurt and I was offended by the joke. I mean, that's so... It's like, it's not even a snowflake. It's almost a whole snowman. So many snowflakes have come down. We're just building a snowman. We just need a carrot and a few little for the eyes. Nicholas said nothing is off limits. I mean, that's what comedy is. I don't know. I go to comedy shows with 10 comedians. I don't think they're all funny. Some of them are dark. Some of them are rude. Some of them say jokes that I don't agree with that have to do with race and religion and gender. But that's what comedy is, and it's not all about my thoughts. If someone likes them, calling Sanders a liar, comedy? I mean, yeah, it's a bad joke, I guess. If you don't think it's funny, yeah. She called her a liar. Just like, Larry Wilmore called President, Obama a bomber. He said, you keep killing innocent people. And like, Obama didn't laugh. Obama looked very offended because he's like, yeah, I'm probably doing that. But, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Larry Wilmore made jokes that I didn't agree with. Comedy doesn't have to be 100% true. It's not a investigative journalism report with a, 12-point Times New Roman font and sourced. It's comedy. Some comedians just literally make up their whole thing. They're like, I was walking with my family the other day and a lion came out of nowhere and a lion ate my son. And you're like, this guy's lying. Like, some comedians, they lie the whole time. Someone said I disagree with you on this. That's fine. But, like, I don't even know what you're disagreeing with, because I'm not saying it had to be funny. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. But I will tell you that was comedy. That's a fact. That was a roast. That's a fact. You could disagree with it, but it's not going to make it true. I'm sorry. And comedy is allowed to be open, okay? I don't know. I don't think anything she said was that offensive. I thought she's definitely liberal leaning, but she talked about Sarah Sanders for like 40 seconds. I thought when I read that, I was like, man, she must have just spent 10 minutes just bashing her, but she totally didn't. She called Rachel Maddow delusional, and MSNBC, she said, she had a really good Rachel Maddow joke. She said, I don't even remember, basically saying like Rachel Maddow never gets to the point and she's like a delusional liar. She didn't say she's fake, but she basically did. Put one and two together. I thought it was great. So overall, thank you guys for the discussion. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to disagree with me. But there are certain things that I will always stand up for. I will always stand up for free speech. I will always stand up for, amendments that protect civil liberties against tyranny. I will always stand up for people, regardless of their race, religion, and gender. I will stand up for people that are getting, basically targeted by the media and people that are basically being discriminated against. I will stand up for everyone. But comedy goes hand in hand with free speech, and you might not think so. But if you try to police comedy, you're no better than a snowflake liberal. I'm sorry, and comedy is not going to be policed. Liberals are already trying to ruin comedy. They're already getting mad at fat jokes and everything. We can't have conservatives try to ruin comedy too, because they don't like abortion jokes and they don't like Sarah Sanders jokes. That's fine, but you're not going to ruin roast battles. I love roast battles. They're very dark. They're very mean. That's what they are. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But I've watched the White House Correspondents' Dinner the last couple years, and it's always been mean. They've always made fun of everybody. I thought Larry Wilmore was much more funny, but it's not the end of the world that Sarah Sanders can't take a joke, and people don't want to hear about it. Paul said, you lost a lot today, my friend. Well, if I'm losing people who want to lie to themselves, that's fine. I could have not said this. I could have probably made more money, and I probably could have, kept more people, but I just can't lie to myself, and I can't lie to you. If people think that wasn't comedy and it wasn't a roast, they can unfollow because they're lying to themselves. That was comedy. That's a fact. That was a roast. That's a fact. Okay? Is she biased? Is she politically leaning? Totally. I'm not. She's probably a liberal snowflake herself who reads MSNBC and, believes everything they say about Mueller. I'm not saying she was completely accurate, but comedy doesn't have to be. I don't know. I'm not that blown away by a roast. So if I lost a lot of people by telling a blatant truth and blatant facts that are just blatantly obvious, and the fact that comedy is not for, it doesn't have to be for you, and just because you're offended by a joke, now we can't do roast comedy at the White House anymore because now conservatives are bigger snowflakes than liberals. That's fine. If that made me lose a lot of people, I mean, I don't know. I'm joking. I'm having a good time now. I think it's funny to talk about because I like comedy and I like to be a little humorous as well. But I just can't go along with the herd. When the liberal sheep try to run me off a fake cliff and take all my taxes, I don't run off the liberal cliff. And when conservatives try to run off the comedy cliff and act like it's not comedy and not a roast, and they're so offensive and mean, I'm not going to run off the cliff with all the conservatives. People that I love and respect, that I would probably be better off just lying about and being like, oh yeah, they're totally right, even though they're lying. I just can't do it. I don't know. So if I lost people, I'll check after I'm done. We'll see how many people I lost. But I stand by everything I just said. Just to recap, I watched the whole Michelle Wolf clip. I don't think she was that funny, but yes, it was comedy. Yes, it was a roast. I laughed 5 or 6 times. She didn't bully Sarah Sanders. She didn't single out Sarah Sanders. She made fun of literally everybody. She made fun of herself more than she made fun of Sarah Sanders, but that's what comedians do. That's what roast battles are. They did this at the Correspondents dinner with Larry Wilmore. He made fun of Obama more than Michelle Wolf made fun of President Trump. He made fun of CNN. He was probably a lot funnier, but doesn't mean comedy's canceled just because one person's not as funny. I don't know. And I'm just embarrassed, honestly, to see so many logical, common sense-driven conservative people, think that them being offended by a joke and the fact that they think that there's certain things that shouldn't be joked about. I'm just kind of like, I'm embarrassed, that so many people feel that way, because that's just not what comedy is. It's never going to be what comedy is. It's never going to be what comedy roasts are. And the real conservative thing to do would be to protect the sanctity of free speech and comedy, because this is how they get people, okay? They pander. Why do you think so many people are delusionally liberal? Do you think it's because they're bad people? No. Liberals are good people. They get manipulated because they pander to people's emotions, and they pander to liberals' preferences, and they pander to things they taught them in school, and they pander to them on social media, so they use things that they love and things that they hate, like Trump, to lead them in the total wrong direction. It's no different with conservatives. They're using a joke that you didn't like, they're using a comedy sketch and a roast thing that you didn't like to use it to manipulate you, to literally call for your own demise. And I know you might say, well, I'm not saying for free speech, but yeah, it's the same thing as liberals in the streets with signs saying, oh, no, we don't want to take away your Second Amendment rights. We just want to make it harder for 21-year-olds to get guns. And it's the same thing. Yeah, you're not calling for jail time or free speech, but you are aiding the snowball rolling effect of taking away your own free speech. Because if she can't joke about abortion and she can't make fun of the White House correspondent at the White House Correspondents Dinner, then what's next? I mean, you're literally just rolling the ball of no free speech and taking our own personal liberties away. It's totally not a conservative thing to do. It's totally not a, libertarian thing to do. And I don't know. It's like I'm just not offended by bad comedy. If it's not funny and it's biased, oh well. I mean, it could have been way worse. I mean, when I heard what people said and then I watched it, I was like, wow, people are overreacting completely. So overall, that's what I stand for. I stand for the truth, no matter which way it goes. And I'm not saying I'm the all-being truth, but I'm just saying, I mean, comedy, it doesn't have to make you laugh. Doesn't have to be PG. It certainly doesn't have to be rooted out of love. I mean, that's a huge myth that's being. It's not about hate. It's about love. I mean, it's not true at all. A lot of comedians are very, very hateful. That's like their whole thing. But I appreciate you. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hopefully this wasn't too damaging to the movement, because I appreciate everyone. I love everyone. I like talking about stuff. I do what I do because I think it's the right thing to do in the right time. I don't care about pandering. I don't care if I lose people. And I've been accused so many times, Anomalies just pandering to conservatives to make money. No, I'm gaining a lot of conservative support because conservatives have way more common sense. They seem to be a lot more honest. They seem to be a lot less politically correct and more willing to talk about things that liberals aren't talking about. And the modern day liberal has been so mind controlled and brainwashed by Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and Facebook and Twitter and Google, it's impossible to tell the truth to most liberals without their head exploding, and they don't want to hear it because they've been fed a lie so many times. So that's why I have a lot of conservative support. I support the Constitution. I support the amendments. I support free speech. I support personal liberties. I support lower taxes. I mean, a lot of policy preferences of mine are libertarian, but I still have common sense. I get that everything won't work out. I don't like socialism. I don't like communism. I don't like democratic, whatever they're pretending to do. I don't like lies. I don't like the mainstream media narrative. So, yeah, I have a lot of conservative supporters because we're on the same page about most things, because the truth doesn't waver to random fake news. And, when it comes to comedy, I hope a lot of good people stick around because I'm not pandering. I never was. I don't do things just for money. Oh, he's just talking to Republicans. No, I'm doing it because it's true. And Republicans and conservatives and Christians and, patriots, listen to me, they get it because they know it's true. And for some reason, liberals, they run and scream when the truth comes. So that's why I've gained a big conservative following, because they get what's going on. President Trump changed the game. He's not a true Republican. A lot of modern-day conservatives, they get it. They're with the jive, and a lot of progressive, liberal-leaning people are. And a lot of people now are texting me and saying, good friends of mine and stuff, being like, yo, I think you were right. Like, they're lying about the Russia stuff. And finally, after a year, like, a lot of my liberal friends are coming around and being like, oh, yeah, you were right. The media's lying. I'm not doing it for favor. I'm not doing it to pander. I don't have a single bone in my body that's, doing that. So hopefully, if anything good comes from this, besides the fact that I'm actually standing up for free speech and standing up for comedy when conservatives are trying to tear it down, hopefully people realize that I'm not just a one-trick pony or going one direction to please people. I'm doing what I think is true. I'm doing what I think is right. I'm doing what I think is honest. And I don't know. When it comes to comedy, it's near and dear to my heart because comedy and free speech go hand in hand, just like music and media and all of these things. They have a major, major influence. And comedy is one of the last places where you're allowed to be not politically correct and no one cares. And I have a lot of comedian friends, and I'm possibly, getting into comedy soon. Liberals especially are going after comedians. So that's the one place where you're allowed to not be politically correct, and they're starting to go at that. So if we lose comedy, it's a loss for conservatives, it's a loss for libertarians, it's a loss for liberals. I'm not even going to argue anymore in the comments, but I appreciate you guys. We'll go on to other things, because overall, this is not that important. It's literally just one comedy roast. But, I figured, why not? I'll go against the grain. That's what we do here. Break the echo chamber, show love. And, I have to stand up for what is right. And when I see all the conservatives kind of just lying about this, I couldn't be part of it. So thank you guys so much. We'll see how many followers I lost. But I'll be back with good content later this week, and I'll continue to keep it real. Hopefully more people than not appreciated this as opposed to like some delusional lie because I was offended by roast comedy, even though I've been a fan of it for like 10 years. Thank you guys. Have a good day.